All right, just kind of clear up a little bit of sum up last Friday night's game. Another really good and very important win for this program. These guys found a way. I did not think that we thought the first half, it was a tale of two halves. Thought we played very inconsistent. Obviously, I'm going to give Coach Montgomery and Tulsa credit. They played really well, especially in the first half, and we knew we had to stop the run, and that was a bit of a challenge early on. Was very disappointed in the way our guys came out. Thought we came out extremely tight, afraid to turn it loose for whatever reason. You put yourself in that position. It's part of learning, part of learning how to win, part of building your program, but also part of that is learning to be able to finish when you have an opportunity and find a way to win games, especially in the second half. The first half was not to our standard by any stretch of the imagination. We did not play well in any phase, defensively, offensively, special teams. I was very disappointed in that, and said that at half. And as a matter of fact, my message at halftime was the fact that we can't play any worse, and we're down a possession. And so that was the only positive coming out of that. But we were going to have to play better. It was going to have to mean a whole lot more to everybody in that room, and we were going to have to find a way to do it in the second half. So I was able to do that. That's part of building a program. Like I said, it takes it takes games like that in the last 2 weeks to create a belief, and we were able to do that. Offensively, James Prochet was our player of the game. We had 3 receivers over 100 yards. We did not play near to our standard. I thought we played very average in the offensive line, which has been uncharacteristic of us this year. The third down offense was I think we were 4 of 13, so it wasn't near to what we've been. We did score touchdowns in the red zone, which was a plus. We had a huge one called back right there on a holding call on a play that the hole was close, but it was, after looking at it, he did have his hands inside, and but it negated a touchdown off the board in a critical moment of the game. We can't do that and expect to win games. That'll cost you down the road. I thought the big run by Braden West got it kind of kick-started, along with his return. Kind of got us on track and got us going. I thought offensively in the first half, we were able to match the momentum. When they went up on us, we were able to come right back and at least keep it close early on in the first half, and kept the momentum from just staying on their sidelines. Defensively, our player of the game was Anthony Roan. It was definitely good to see him play well. Again, very poor first half. I don't think there was a player of the game at all in the first half. But we can't continue to do this, and especially against an opponent that we're fixing to face this week. We've got to figure out a way to play 2 halves, like with the 2 second halves, like we have each of the last 2 weeks. We held them to 2 field goals and 130-something yards of offense in the second half. We've got to find a way to do that in the first half as well and put a complete game together. We got to create turnovers. I know we obviously had the big interception by Rodney Clemens, but a concern is that we're not getting any ball out on the run game. We're not creating any fumbles, and that's a huge disappointment from where we were a year ago. I know that's an area of emphasis that's constantly talked about in this program, is creating those turnovers. But we've got to be more physical in the run game to create those turnovers. Special teams, Cedric Lancaster was our player of the game. Outside of Braden West's return, obviously the big field goal to help us out right there at the end, we were extremely inconsistent in our special teams. That was a disappointment. It's something we haven't showed all year long. I did not think we punted the ball very well at all. I was disappointed in that. We had a protection breakdown, which was uncharacteristic of us. And then the run game, and then the return game, outside of Braden's return, we dropped a couple of opportunities, and so very inconsistent. That's something we'll build on this week. We've got a lot to improve on, but we found a way, and that's always encouraging as a head coach. Is, can your team find a way to win when you need it the most? and we reached a milestone win in our program to become bowl eligible. It's not the final goal. It's not that we've achieved exactly what we set out for this season. There's more ahead. There's a lot of ball left ahead, but that we had to get to this point in this program. And over the last 2.5 seasons that we've been together, to be able to reach this point in the month of October was a huge stride. You know, one of the best starts since 1984 and the best home start since 1982. So, you know, we are on track. We're doing some really good things, but we've got a lot of ball left. We've got a lot of things that are still set in front of us. We got to worry about being 1-0 today. Bringing in a very, very, very good football team, Central Florida. Coach Frost has done a phenomenal job taking over that program in just two short years. What he's been able to do, we went 6-7 last year, got him in a bowl game, and obviously undefeated this year. One of the very few undefeated teams in college football. It's a teal game, so it's a raise awareness for sexual harassment, sexual abuse. And so that'll be a game that will bring Brenda Tracy's coming back in here. She spoke to our team a year ago. She's coming back in, but this is to help raise awareness across our campus. You'll hear "Not on my campus" slogan throughout the game. We'll have the teal stickers on the back of our helmets. But it's a great platform for us to educate our young men and educate the entire country, this being a primetime game. But you know, Coach Frost has done a great job defensively. It's very hard to find any weaknesses of this football team. They're big, they're strong, they're physical, they're fast. Across the front, they played really well. They've got 17 takeaways on defense. They've scored several, I think, you know, I don't know the exact number of times, but I know that they've gotten several defensive scores this year. I want to say it's 6. But D-line, they return just 4 guys on the defensive side of the ball, but all 3 of their D-linemen return. They average 320 across the board, about 6'2", 320. So they're an odd front team, 3 down, and very physical. We've got our work cut out for us. We've got to play really good in the offensive line, as these guys have definitely proved themselves to be some of the best in the country. Linebacker-wise, Shaquem Griffin, the American Athletic Conference Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, is returning, number 18. He's as good a football player as I've seen. This guy has a passion to get to the football. It doesn't matter where it is, he's full speed, everything he does. They got a cornerback, Mike Hughes, number 19, a junior college All-American transfer, scored 3 times this year already. He's also their return man. I know he's got 2 interceptions, I believe a fumble recover for a touchdown. But they're very fast, they pressure extremely well when they do pressure. There's, again, not many deficiencies. When you look at the offensive side of the ball and you try to find some deficiencies there, you can't find any. This is a good offensive football team, one of the top offensive teams in the country. They're averaging 51 points a game, 530 yards a game. So they lead the country in a lot of categories. One of the most impressive stats that you see when you look at these guys and you watch them, they're averaging 7.8 yards per play. Every time they snap the ball, it's almost 8 yards. And so they put them in a lot of second and short yardage situations, which Mackenzie Milton, quarterback for them, has done a fabulous job of from where he was a year ago to where he is right now. He's completing 73% of his passes, 19 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, and close to 2,000 yards passing, and he's still capable of hurting you with his feet, with rushing the ball almost 300 yards. So, you know, we got our work cut out for us. They do a really good job of creating mismatches. Their run pass options are very effective. The guys are definitely playing extremely hard. And like I said, you know, Coach Frost has done a phenomenal job. They've got several guys they'll roll in just to create the mismatches from a speed standpoint. But again, we're going to have to play extremely well. But you know, you set yourself up for opportunities like this. You work extremely hard to get to these opportunities, and to be able to know going into the month of November that this program is in control of its own destiny is all you can ask for, and especially from where we were just 24 short months ago. So, but we got to be more consistent in all phases. We can't wait till the second half to get to decide we want to play. Offensively, we got to be more efficient on third down. Defensively, we got to minimize the big play. They are definitely big play oriented. They do a great job again creating the mismatches, getting you playing the run and then trying to hit the ball over the top. But you know, they're going to get their big play. We got to minimize the amount we give up. We got to come out loose, ready to go, ready to have some fun. And we've worked hard to get to this point, and we're not satisfied. I think anybody would sit in here to tell you that going 0-4 in the month of November would not be exactly what we put in our plan. So we would encourage everybody to come out. You know, this is something that we talked about since I got here, was to be able to put a product on the field that everybody would be proud of. Well, the product's there, and I need everybody out. I need our fan base out. I need our student body out. We need our everybody on the boulevard to come out. It's time. You got a really good football team here at SMU, playing a undefeated number 15th ranked football team across the country that's as good as there are, and we need your support. So come out and support these guys. It's going to be a great night, 6:15 Saturday night. I look forward to the challenge. It'll be a great gauge for this program, but our guys will be ready. There's no doubt about that. We'll have a great week of preparation by being 1-0 every day, and at that point, then Saturday night rolls around, and we'll that's all we can ask. And I look forward to this challenge, and I look forward to seeing many people, many SMU fans in the stands to watch these young men. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
You made a similar appeal at the end of your radio spot last night, talking about wanting the fans to be out there. Is it all disheartening that turn out on Friday with bowl eligibility on the line?
Yeah, it is. It really is. And coming here was one of the things I kept hearing over and over was, Coach, we've got to put a product on the field, and that everybody be proud to support. And I think we've done that. I think we've shown to build that over the last 2.5 years. And to see the work that these young men put in, we appreciate those that are coming out and support. It's awesome, and there's not a moment goes by that I don't appreciate those that come out, both in the bad times and in the good times. We're not where this program is going to be in the end. This program is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get better. But at the same sense, we've all done what we said we came here to do. And so, yes, it was disheartening. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that.
You said after the game the other night, and again here today, that you're not where you want to be yet, but the fact is your team is now bowl eligible. Have you seen a different vibe, a different way your guys are carrying themselves, talking with each other? Is there a different feel to this team now that you've got that 6th win?
Well, what I saw before Friday night was, I thought we were very tight. Almost just, you almost felt that they wanted it so bad that they didn't want to. It was just one of those that they're afraid just to turn it loose because they're afraid to make a mistake. It's hard to put a gauge on it because I never saw it coming. We had a great week of preparation last week, and the guys were ready. Our message all week was, you've been here 1,062 days. Let me take you back to day one. And it started with a one day at a time journey. And so to show the guys where we came from and those dark moments of the losses that we've taken over the last few years, and to get to that point, we had to go through those moments. And so I really thought that our guys were ready to go. But then after looking at it and talking to our staff, and I just kind of felt that we were just so tense that first half. Coming in Sunday, you know, my message is look, man, let's turn it loose. We've achieved, you know, a milestone victory for our program that's going to achieve one of the obviously part of our vision that we have set for ourselves is to become bowl eligible, but it's not the end result. That's not why we came here. But to get to that point, to get to a championship caliber team, you have to achieve that first. And so now that you've done that, let's loosen up. Let's have some fun with this thing, and because everybody's worked extremely hard, and let's go play our best. We talk about being golden in the month of November, and here we are. We're in the month of November, and what's it going to take to be golden? Is we're going to have to be consistent. To be consistent, we've got to continue to do the same thing we've been doing to get us to this point. We got to turn it loose and just play our style of football like we know we can play. So, you know, have I seen a difference in the way they're approached? No, not at all. But I know this, that, you know, there was a lot of, those guys were happy to achieve what they achieved over the time that we've been here last Friday night. So, you know, again, you know, you build a program from the ground floor up, took over a program that was 1-11. You know, it was remarkable to see the growth that these young men have experienced. And it shows, as I shared with them, it shows that, you know, hard work does pay. Don't know when it pays off, but it does pay. And so it teaches these guys life lessons that, you know, after football, that there's going to be times that you're going to have to continue to work hard even when you don't think you're seeing results. But the only way you lose is if you don't get back up. And these guys have had to get back up many times, and I'm very proud of that. And so it shows that you can achieve some rewards if you continue to work hard. So we'll see. I know it's a long answer, but I'm very passionate about that. I'm very passionate about our players because we've asked them to do a whole lot for us in this program. And you know, no one knows the depths of this program like we do and these players. And so to see where we came from and where we are right now is remarkable.
In your post-game speech to the team, you talked about how this week has the potential to be like a statement game for SMU. In your opinion, what do you think that this game could mean to your team?
Well, I mean, when you look at it, it's a great gauge for our program. They're really good. Let me tell you, they're really good. This is a good football team that's coming in here. And, you know, from where we are in building our program, we haven't played as consistent as we need to play. Not to be a championship caliber team. You know, when you come into the month of November and you're setting in, basically you control your own destiny for the Western Division, that's all you can ask. That's really what you ask for. So it's a great gauge for our program. We've got like I said, a very tough opponent coming in, but the biggest opponent we have is SMU. We've got to learn and we got to find a way to be consistent in all phases. We can't play as bad defensively and as offensively and as special teams wise as we did in the first half and expect to come out of this game on top. It's not going to happen. They're too good. And so we've got to be ready to go. We've got to be able to play our style of football and be more consistent in all phases.
What injuries can you update?
Obviously, Damari Mixon, we've talked about him. He's out. Nick Natura will be out this week. And I think that's about it right now.
So Hayden starts at left guard?
Hayden is in the left guard, yes.
And you got Jacob Dor listed first team right guard?
Jacob will work at both right guard and right tackle with Will Hopkins and Bryce Wild. So there'll be that combination kind of way we started the season out right there, helping everybody.
With that three-man rotation at those two positions, what do you and Coach Fry look for when in practice to sort out who's going to get most of the reps on game day? Yeah,
just the consistency. When you look at the defensive front that they have, I mean, we've got to be extremely consistent in pass protection and our run scheme. And so it's really going to kind of come back and continue to do what we've been doing, is creating competition, and all three of those guys will play. But we've got to somehow continue to get better. We didn't play very well in the offensive line as a whole unit this past Friday night. So that's something we got to do a better job of. And you know, with Nick not being in there, did it hurt us? Absolutely. He had been playing really well, but at the same sense, it's the next man up. And so I anticipate all three of those guys are going to be just fine and plenty of playing time this week.
With all the success that Cortland Sutton and Trey Quinn have had this year, how important was it for your offense, and how much did it change what you could do calling plays to have James Prochet break out with a big game last week?
Well, we talked about it all week long. I know Coach Craddock and I had discussed it. It was time that you know, we felt like that some of the different coverages that we may see with Cortland and Trey, that James may have a big night, and he did. And so again, it's good to see that young man have some success, and just it takes the pressure off of a lot of other areas too when you're able to do that. So we know he's a dynamic playmaker, and he's not the only one. So we'll continue to involve him in the offense as he has been.
What does the routine look like every week when you go about game planning for an opponent? Like what are the steps, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Sunday nights, you know, Sunday we're usually up here, and early afternoon going through, we'll have a staff meeting that afternoon, and Coach Craddock and Coach Malone get both sides of the ball up. We'll have a special teams meeting Monday, and then we'll go to practice Sunday night, come back in, and continue to work on the opponent. Mondays are an all-day game planning day for us. It's our players' day off. Our players will stop by and just check in with their coaches. Tuesday, again, continue game planning, getting ready for practice. We'll be on the practice field. Our meeting started at 2:05 on the practice field, somewhere around 4 o'clock. And then back in that night, continue the game plan. You know, we'll be up here probably till 11:30, 12 o'clock on Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Wednesday's kind of a rinse and repeat. Sure. Different phases that we game plan on, and Thursdays we'll extend our meetings and go out with a light practice, and then more game planning, and kind of finalize the details and practice on Friday.
What goes into it on Monday, that all day? Like, how do you break it up so it's not, you know, one long stretch?
Yeah, you know, it's there's a lot of intricate details to it. Everybody has their own role. Everybody has their own responsibility. So a lot of the time is spent away from each other. A lot of individual studying going on. You know, Coach Craddock and I and Coach Stepp usually get together, and we'll watch video together, and just get some ideas, talk about them, and then later that afternoon, I know Coach Malone and Coach Craddock brings the staff back in and kind of circle their thoughts up and just kind of put something on the board and kind of get started somewhere. And then at that point, it's you know, you discuss a lot of things, what you like, what you don't like, and build from there and take stuff off. And that continues all week long.